Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the revolutionary new Remington Rolectric. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies, gentlemen, and Boy Scouts. I'm very pleased to welcome back this evening a guest from overseas, a member of the What's My Line panel of the British Broadcasting System, Mr. Eamonn Andrews.
Now, last time I was here, I had the privilege of introducing the moderator, but tonight I've got to introduce a lady who's probably had to say no just as often, the lovely Arlene Francis.
And now, a gentleman with whom I have just spent a glorious vacation, a week's vacation on a Frank Sinatra yachting party. Wow! The captain of my own particular ship, Mr. Martin Gabel.
And what a ship. Now a gentleman who's just returned from the atomic tests at Yucca Flats, Nevada, Mr. John Bailey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Once again tonight, we're happy to welcome Mr. Andrews from our opposite number on the London scene, and we trust that we can give Mr. Andrews and his colleagues of the evening on the panel a rough time with our occupations. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first contestant in just 1 minute. Just to add some spice to the evening, the first contestant will require that the panel, our friends on the panel, blindfold themselves. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good. Will you come in, first contestant, and sign in, please? Well, that's quite a name. All right, will you come over here and sit down next to me? Needless to say, panel, we are not going to give you any names because this is one of the areas of identification that might have made it necessary for us to ask you to put blindfolds on. I would ask our guest if they're aware of the way we score this program. You know how we score it? Fine. Yes. Then let's let everybody in the theater and out, except our friends on the panel, know exactly what your line is. We will tell you, panel, that our guest is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Well, our moderator made you sound rather plural. Are there more than one of you?
Yes.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
I hope so.
What?
I hope so.
Oh. Do you deal in services?
Yes.
Are they useful?
Yes.
Is there anything amusing or entertaining or beneficial about them?
Yes.
Is it entertaining rather than, purely beneficial?
That's actually, we don't want to mislead you. I would say that their services are fundamentally beneficial, although we could not rule out that they might be found entertaining, as the performance of any service might be, to some people, entertaining.
Well, I mean, it isn't much fun watching somebody iron a shirt, but...
Oh, I like that. I go miles to see a shirt
do people
iron.
watch you do what you do?
Yes.
Do they pay to watch you?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Andrews.
I've been trying to work out why the audience started to applaud and then stopped, as if there were 6 income tax collectors or somebody had come in. If the audience don't pay to watch you do what you do they pay to get into the place where you do what you do?
No. 2 down and 8 to go,
Here
Miss
they are.
Francis.
If they don't pay to watch you and they don't pay to go into the place, you must be associated with television.
Notice the clear, cold logic of my wife's mind.
It is that, Martin. You're right, Miss Arlene.
You are associated with television, huh?
Yes.
You perform on television?
No.
No, that's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Well, you're not the various vice presidents of Young and Rubicam.
No.
Yes, they are not.
Yes, you are not. Are you behind the scenes in the production of television shows?
I guess so.
You are. You do, could your efforts be called literary in any way?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you ever out in the house, so to speak?
Yes.
Oh, do you ever wear anything other than street clothes when you do what you do?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Well, I'm trying to work out why we're blindfold. It must be that, presumably, if they don't wear uniforms, that my fellow members here would recognize them. Are you connected with this theater?
At times.
At times. Do you work on this side of the footlights? We have footlights. I forgot to look.
On this side of the footlights, that's no. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, if you work on the other side of the footlights, it all comes down to these cold conclusions. Do you, by any chance, ever take disagreeable close-ups of any of us?
Trapped.
Are you cameramen on What's My Line? Yes.
Well, at last it didn't go out of the public.
I would like to make a comment, John.
Yes,
They said they
ma'am.
didn't wear anything other than what they wear now.
No, street clothes.
Other than street clothes, because you should see their get-ups sometimes.
I was about to say Bermuda shorts sometimes, but I'm going to give it away.
Are we being photographed now?
Yes, who's on the cameras?
They're running themselves tonight.
What's my story?
Lee Tannen, Joe Swartz, Cass Gaylord. These are our cameramen. Golly, I guess, Lee, you've been with us for how many years?
8, I guess.
Nearly 8 years, and Joe and Cass about 6. So they've
7
been
for
6 and
myself.
7 years been with us. that
Why do
long.
they look so young? And they make us look so old.
I must say, I take some blame, fellas, for this. I slipped and said contestants early on, so that Dorothy grabbed it immediately. Otherwise, we might have stuck them for a longer time.
Your passion for good grammar, John,
Yeah.
would always trap you in situations.
I got trapped anyway, but you forgive me, I trust, and watch the close-ups, fellas, will you? Thank you very much. Nice to have you with us as guests on What's My Line. There's the shortest vacation anybody ever had, because guess where Lee and Joe and Cass are now? Back on their cameras where they belong. All right, fine. You fellas all ready? Let's have another contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Right. Nat. Nat Lawrence. Is that right, sir? Where are you from?
Miami, Florida.
Miami, Florida. Well, it's nice to have you with us, Mr. Lawrence. The panel. Actually, we seem to have most of Miami here with us tonight. Do you know how we keep score?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll get it back to 0, and then let's let everybody at home, those who've joined us here, know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, Mr. Lawrence is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Eamonn Andrews.
Salaried. He's probably the real skipper of Frank Sinatra's boats, if the truth were known. Salaried. Do you give people some sort of a service, even in the loosest possible way?
Yes, sir.
Service. Is this a service we could find elsewhere besides Miami and other metropolitan areas?
Yes, sir.
Could I, for instance, get this service in London?
You might.
Yeah, you might. I would say there that we can't say it with absolute certainty, but it's a reasonable presumption that it would be available to you in London.
And to give this service, do you need some sort of instrument or some utensil other than yourself?
Sometime.
Is it anything to do with sport?
No.
No, nothing to do with sports. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is your service available to both men and women?
Yes, ma'am.
Do people avail themselves of your services because they need it?
Yes.
Yes?
I don't think there's any question, but that when they get it, they probably need it, yeah.
Do you work indoors?
Yes.
Do you work in a place other than an office?
Yes.
Is the place a place of entertainment in any way?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Since people don't necessarily need what you do, but in a way they need it, does it in some way beautify them?
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
When the people come to you for your services, are they ever in love?
Are they ever in love? This encompasses the world, in effect, Dorothy. It's perfectly possible they could come to us and be in love. But you mean specifically, do they come to him because they're in love?
Well, does he help them because they're in love? Or does that have anything to do with it?
Maybe they want
No,
to be
I
in
would
love.
say that has
No.
nothing to do with their being in love. No, that's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Andrews.
I don't know how you asked that question, Dorothy, when he said not sport and not entertainment, but I suppose you can work that one out.
Sorry, Eamonn, I forgot.
All right, well, they come to you, they may not need it, but the way John phrased that, it sounded to me as if it might be something like a good noggin of drink of some sort, if they had a hangover. Do you have anything to do with a place where you can get something to drink?
No.
No, 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
You yourself ruled out entertainment and sport. Now, is there any product whatsoever in your business, Mr. Lawrence?
No, ma'am.
That makes it 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Gable.
Is your business seasonal in any way? Coming
No.
to Miami?
No, not seasonal. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do the people who seek your services come to you in groups of more than one?
No, not usually.
Not usually, so we'd make it 8
May
down
we
and
have a
2 to
conference
go.
down for a
Yes,
moment?
you may have
Yes.
30 seconds for a conference.
Some kind of a marriage broker or a
Well, that's why I asked about
No,
love,
that's
but
ruled out.
perhaps...
But not necessarily in love. They don't have somebody.
They hate each other, so why should he get them
Oh,
married?
yes, you're
They might be
right.
looking
Yes,
for
you're
someone.
right. It could be a marriage broker, and they wouldn't be in love at all. Or it could be a psychiatrist.
All right, ask.
That's a good
All right.
point.
And,
Well,
All
that's my
right.
question. You heard the result of our conference. May we just go around it vaguely? Do you give some sort of advice or help when they come?
No.
No,
Oh,
that
well,
is
then
not a
that's better,
function.
isn't
It
it?
might
he
be
might
as
just take a name out of a hat.
Let's help.
incidental action. 9 down and 1 to go, Miss
Do you
Francis.
touch these people in any way?
Yes.
Yes. Would you be considered a professional man?
Semi.
Semi, I think is good answer.
Do you help the people that come to you?
Yes.
Are they in trouble in any way when they come to you?
Yes.
Do you try to keep them from getting into more trouble as a result of coming to you?
Yes.
Yes, I would say he probably hopes,
For the
as
future.
an end result of his service, that they will...
Do you work for a non-profit making
Yes,
organization?
ma'am.
Do you have anything to do with the law?
Yes, I do.
Do you have anything to do with people that might be under arrest?
Yes.
Do you have you anything to do with a prison?
Yes. Remotely.
Remotely, yes.
Connected.
Do you sometimes send people to prison?
I don't know.
No. he
Would you
does
take
not.
them there as a friend?
No, actually, that's 10 down and no more to go. Mr. Lawrence operates a drunkometer, a chemical test for intoxication in Miami. And I would warn you all to be on your best behavior because Mr. Lawrence is a deputy sheriff of Dade County and works out of the sheriff of Dade County's office.
Have you your drunkometer with you? None of us have ever seen one.
Well, Mr. Lawrence, we have done what we set out to do. We stuck the panel for that. Our thanks, and we hope you enjoyed your visit with us. It was nice to have you with us in What's My Line. In just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for whose appearance I have once again asked my friends on the panel to blindfold themselves. All blindfolded?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, Mystery Challenger, and sign in, please? In the case of our mystery challenger, we go to the different form of questioning, which requires that you each ask one question at a time, moving clockwise. We'll begin with Arlene Francis.
Are you associated with the entertainment world?
Yes.
Mr. Gabel.
More associated with films than the theater?
On occasion, I have been.
I think, actually, Martin, it's a little bit hard to be specific about that.
All right,
Our guest
I got
has been
it.
associated with both. Miss Kilgallen?
Are you presently engaged in work in the New York theater?
Unless you consider tonight, no.
That makes it 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Do you make gramophone records?
Make what?
This is a very British phrase, is it?
You make gramophone records?
I understood that we were supposed to talk only English here. What do you mean, gramophone?
Little discs with holes in the middle that spin under a needle.
I made some sometime.
Miss Francis?
Have you been in television?
Well, no, I've been in television on occasion. I expect to be back again in the near future, too.
Mr. Gabel?
Is your hair red?
Is your face red?
Well, my face is red. It was out in the sun today.
But the
But
hair...
my hair is not red.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are there more than one of you?
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Andrews.
What was
Only
the answer
one.
to that?
No.
No. I see. Sounded like Billy Graham's stand-in for a minute. What about the man who played Robert Briscoe, the Irish accent? I'll buy it. Art Carney.
4 down and 6 to go. That takes us, Miss Francis.
Are you a comedian?
And how?
Mr. Gabel.
Did you appear in a show on 45th Street about a year ago?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a stand-up, one-line type comedian rather than the plot type?
I am whatever the occasion calls for kind of comedian, ma'am.
How marvelous for you.
You've
Well,
got
I
a
think we'd
wonderful
have
voice.
to give you a no there, Dorothy, just on the basis of the general performance. Mr. Andrews.
Well, I'm most interested in his voice more than anything else, but is there a film of yours currently appearing in New York?
I think somewhere, someplace, that film of mine could be shown.
But to be absolutely fair to the panel, it is not, as far as we're aware, currently showing in a big house on Broadway. Miss Francis?
Goodness. Well, have you made a big hit in the theater in something?
Yes, ma'am.
Gabel?
Was my street off by 1 block when I asked my previous question?
Yeah, it was 44th Street.
Are you Buddy Hackett?
Yes, sir.
John, you should have supported me. For 1 block, you don't call a man on.
Martin, I didn't know whether it was 127th Street. I had to leave that all to Buddy. When Buddy said no, I thought you were off on the wrong ticket altogether. I didn't know that you were 1 block away.
And it was Sidney Kingsley's play, was
Yeah,
it not?
I never wrote another play after that.
He will.
I know.
Well, Buddy, I think the biggest compliment we have heard paid to you tonight was the question, is there more than one of you here? I've never heard so many voices and accents flowing out in so
Well,
short
when
a
I was
space
asked
of
that
time.
question, I thought I knew who I was.
Oh, no, really?
Sure, because a lot of times people look at me, they think maybe I'm two.
Oh, no. Well, Buddy, we nearly stuck him. We got down to 6. Thank you for giving him a hard time, and thank you for being
Thank
our
you
guest.
for having me here.
Nice to have you with us. All right, we have time for another contestant. Will our final contestant come in and sign in, please?
Bruce Beebe, is that right? Mr. Beebe, where are you from?
Toledo, Ohio.
Toledo, Ohio. Mr. Beebe, the panel.
Will you come over here? There are not as many people from Toledo as from Miami tonight, as you just heard. You know how we keep score?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get it back to 0 and let everybody hear and the folks at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, Mr. Beebe is salaried. And Martin, I think we ought to begin the general questioning with you.
Thank you, John. Because Mr. Beebe looks so studious, possibly you're in athletics, Mr. Beebe.
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, would you say that your work was more intellectual than physical?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Andrews.
He looks the intellectual type. Maybe he works a drunkometer with that beer or whatever it was we worked out last time. Do you provide any sort of service in your work?
Yes.
Do you use your hands to provide this service?
Yes.
Do you use anything else besides your hands, an object as opposed to your brain?
Yes.
You do. Do you give this service to both men and women?
Wait a minute. We got to work on it. Yeah. I think, Eamonn, we would have to give you an affirmative answer there.
What is that?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Good. That's fine.
Across the sea, fellas.
It's a rather
Because
reluctant
there was a doubt there, would I be correct in assuming that you were thinking in terms of children, which you didn't want to decide whether they were men or women?
We were not, I think, specifically thinking in terms of children, but that they enter into the picture can certainly be considered true.
I see. Well, when they get this service, do they look better for it?
I don't think that any connection here would suggest the improvement in appearance on anybody's part, would you say? Fine. That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, is the service primarily for children?
I think it is not untoward to say that certainly more children, perhaps, than adults would get the benefits that do accrue from the service.
I see. May I ask if there is some product involved in this operation of yours?
No product. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
You need professional training for your job.
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you perform your service in various places rather than just one place?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Even though children benefit more from this, could Miss Kilgallen, for instance, benefit from your service?
Yes, I believe she could.
And to get this service, would she have to come to you?
Yes.
She would. And when she left, even if she didn't look better, because you said we wouldn't look better, would she carry away something with her she didn't come with originally?
No, I don't think so, and I'm going to have to ring down the towel on the basis of time, because this is going to require a little explanation. Mr. Beebe is a babysitter for a gorilla. And I rush to explain. A male baby gorilla arrived at the Toledo Zoo early this year, and was very morose and unhappy. They found that when a keeper was in the cage, he appeared much improved, and so Mr. Beebe was hired to stay with him, and he does it 8 hours a day and plays with him and has a wonderful time, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
I'm glad we knocked him over. Mr. Andrews, it was nice to have you back with us again, and until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Dorothy.
Good night, John, and good night and happy moderating in London, Eamonn.
Thank you. Good night, Arlene. Lovely to be back again.
Good night. It was very nice to have you. Good night for now, dear Martin.
Good night, dear Arlene. Good night to all the mothers of the Celeste, and good night, John.
Good night, Martin, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Transportation for What's My Line was arranged by American Airlines. Guests are flown to New York aboard America's famous luxury flight, the DC-7 Mercury. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network. Be sure to see Remington Rand's other great television program, Gunsmoke, Saturday night on this same network.